Hello there. Board games are great. And right away, just by saying that one sentence in this completely off the cuff, unrehearsed video, I've split the audience into three groups. The first group, they're people who know board games, right? They've been playing board games for years. Monopoly, Risk, Snakes and Ladders, Scrabble, played the lot. They know them all. You know, they've got all kinds in their cupboard. You know that they take round at Christmas or play with their gran sometimes. So you know they know. And then there's the second group, and the second group they know board games because they know it's moved on since those. Actually, it's not just stuff in the Argos catalogue anymore. It's those nerds. They're playing their things with these big things that they spend ages playing. It's got all these little soldiers that move around and fight, or World War II stuff, and it's all very, very boring, and it all takes ages. It's slow. It's all, but it's all just bums, really. It's all bums. And then there's the third group, and the third group, they know board games, as in they actually know. They know what board games have become and how much variety there is. And by the way, just to backtrack a bit, the war gamers, honestly, it's fine. I'm talking about people who don't get the. Let's go back to it. People who know board games, because I've got a shelf over there and it's full of them, and they're all completely different and they're all great. Some of them got dice all over the place. Some of them don't have any. Some of them got a board. Some of them don't need it. Some of them got cards. Some of them you play in 15 minutes and teach the rules in 5, and some of them you play for a couple of hours and there's so much depth. But some of them are tiny little boxes, but such a lot of games. And some of them are huge and they've got these big thick rulebooks. They're everything. If you think about how much computer games have come on in the past 30 years, because Monopoly, that's like from the 50s, right? Scrabble, God knows how old that is. Risk, that's 70s, 80s originally. Think about how much computer games have come on in that time, from Pong and, Space Invaders and Pac-Man and Super Mario Brothers. And think about the games of today and how much complexity and how much easier they are to play and how much more fun. And you get the idea of what's happened with board games. And today, I'm going to try and talk about board games a bit more than normal, I think, on this channel, because I don't really do much with it, and I like board games, so why not? But today I'm going to talk about a game. I'm going to start off with a weird one, actually. This is going to be, not the way to introduce people who don't know about board games. But anyway, I want to talk about a game I got just yesterday and played just today for the first time, and it's called Hostage Negotiator. Look, that's the box. And Hostage Negotiator, I don't think I've ever had such a polarised view of a game across 2 playthroughs, because I've played it twice. And the Hostage Negotiator, I won't go into the rules too much, because that's not really what this is about. I'm not trying to explain a game or review it, I'm just talking about my experiences with it. But basically, you've got this board that tracks how much of a threat there is. I'm trying to do this without seeing the board, and how much information you've got, all kinds of things. There's going to be hostages on there, which are these little wooden pieces, and you're trying to save them and not let them get killed. And then there's a few dice, which you're not really going to use any more than 2 for most of the game. And then there's some cards, like this many cards, which you're not going to be able to see properly because they're in these plastic wrappings that are going to reflect the light. But that's basically it. It all fits in this tiny little box here, and that's the whole thing. And look, the manual is like there's not much to it really. And the first time I played this, I played it twice, both tonight. And the first time I played this, I hated it. It was, oh God, it went so badly. I got thoroughly trounced. I went through the whole thing. There's these threats, these threat cards, and what happens is at the end of every turn you've had a conversation, and hopefully you've been able to make the abductor, ease down, the hostage taker sort of ease down a bit, and maybe you've learnt a few things that you can use to buy some better cards, and that'll all be good. But then he does a threat, and the threats I got, I think, were all of the worst threats in the game. Because when you're setting the game up, you take, like, there's a whole stack of these cards. I mean, obviously not that big, because that'd be more than there are in the game, but there's a lot of them, and you pick 10 of them and make a pile. So you've got 10 at random, and they can have different things, different every time you play. I think I had all the worst ones, because it just went very poorly, and then I kept getting things which just undid everything I did, and I was doing it real wrong. I'd set the game up wrong, which was my own fault, because it's very, very clear what you're meant to do, but I messed it up. What can I say? And I ran out of time. I got to the end of the game and I'd achieved nothing. I hadn't rescued any hostages. I hadn't convinced the abductor to surrender. I hadn't even really seen most of the game. It was terrible. That's awful. That's not the experience you want. And at the end of it, I mean, it'd only taken... This is a very short game to play, actually. It probably only took about half an hour for the first game, including setting up and reading through the manual, which is pretty good. But afterwards, I just sat back and I just thought, oh no. Because I really wanted to like it. I hadn't actually looked up what the game was really like. And if I had, I probably wouldn't have gotten it. I don't like dice-based games, generally speaking. I don't like games where you win or lose not based on how good you are or how strategic you've been or how you've managed to manipulate the other players, but on the dice coming up with something that's not very helpful. I know you don't know what those meant, but trust me, it wasn't very helpful. And yeah, but it didn't work. So I went away and I had a bit of a think, because I sometimes you just know that you're missing something. You just do. It's like have you ever been to see a film and everyone's gushing about the film, they think it's brilliant, and you're watching it and you can see the depth, you can see that there is something there, there's a story being told, and there's clearly a lot of, you're seeing that there's themes running through it. You just don't get them. You're not quite getting what's going on, really, and it's there on the screen, it's telling you, you're just not hearing it. Well, that's kind of the experience I had with this. So I went away and I looked at, there's this great site called Board Game Geek, which is for board game geeks, and that has a section with strategy, and they mentioned a few things, but most importantly I found that rule that I was missing. Because the problem is, these abductors, I'm going to start rummaging through this, so hopefully it won't mess up the sound or something, but I hope the sound's actually recording, otherwise I'm going to have to redo this, and this is quite a good take. Anyway, they have demands. Like, look, this is who I was facing. He's a terrorist bloke. His name is Arcane Masui. There's 3 different people that you can be up against. There's Donna Scarborough, who's an insane teacher who just wants her tenure, and there's sad Edward Quinn, who just can't afford the medical procedure to save his child, and that's why he's doing what he's doing. But this guy, Arcane Masui, he's just a bad dude. He just wants to, well, that's the thing. You've got these different major demand cards which say different things. And as it clearly states on here, which you're not going to be able to pick up because of the white balancing, you're meant to put one of those in the game. So you pick one at random and you put it down, and then eventually you'll flip it over and find out, this guy, he just wants money this time. That's what he's after. And there's also escape demands, which are their way of trying to figure out how they want to go. And again, there's 4 of these in here. And I messed it up because I put all of these major demands in the game and all 4 escape demands. So I had 7 of these demands that I was spending most of the game trying to turn over, because if you haven't, bad things happen. And it turns out you're not meant to. You're just meant to have 2 of them, and you can turn both those over in the first turn of the game, and then everything's a lot easier. And I got it wrong. And that happens. That's just the reality of board gaming. Sometimes you mess up. But I found that out, and I went and read a couple of strategies. And this is all sounded like to do board games. You have to do a lot of reading, but I've never really had to do this before. This game just kind of got me, and I wanted to get to the core of it. I wanted to find out what I was missing, so I put in that effort. And I sat down for the second time and played it again. This time with the rules right. This time with a little bit more of a plan, a little bit more of an idea of what I'm meant to do. And I won, which apparently is quite rare in this game, so I'm quite happy about that. But I didn't just win, I like won, you know? It's like, it's the difference between, if you've ever played poker, I'm not a big fan of poker. I'm not very good at reading people. I'm terrible at bluffing. Not my game. I'm too mathematical. But poker, you know, sometimes you win and it's just because you got the cards and they were great. And everyone else had rubbish cards. And you managed to not really give away how great your cards were. And then you won and it's, you know, well, the cards just let me win. That's it. There was no real way to lose. The game kind of gave it to you. And that happens in board games sometimes as well. You just get the things that you needed and it's all great and you feel kind of happy, but it's a bit of a hollow happiness. But this was like the other kind of poker where you get the cards, and I've never experienced this, but I'm assured that it happens, where you get the cards and they're not great, to be honest. They're pretty terrible. And you win anyway. And you win because you're looking at the other players and you've kind of got their number and you're kind of being a bit smart and you're outthinking them. And then the next card comes out on the river, is it called river? And it's a bit better and suddenly it's looking up a bit, but you don't give on that it's looking up. And someone else drops out and it's all starting to go your way, but you play it canny and then by the end of it you've just got a load of money or tokens or pebbles or whatever you're playing for from a hand of not much. And this, it got like that. There's all these cards in the game that have these different costs and different effects. They help you or hurt you. It's not going to help show you the cards. The point is they're there. And the thing is, you can kind of think tactically. There isn't really an engine that you're building like in other games. It's just that you kind of have to decide what your short and medium and long term goals are for this game. Long term in a game that plays 15 minutes to take, you know, to play. That sentence didn't work. Never mind. But I didn't feel like I was doing stuff just because it was obviously the right move or obviously the safe move. I came up with a strategy and I won on about the 4th turn, and it felt really good. It was great, and you know, it's like I did it. I figured it out, and that, you know, it was a wonderful feeling. One thing I haven't really talked about, and I probably should, is the fact that I'm just saying that I'm just playing this against a game, which in fact is exactly correct. Although most board games now, as ever, are very, very much a communal experience. You play them with other people and someone does something stupid and you all laugh at them and it's all a lot of fun and all this kind of stuff happens. Games, again, as with video games, have kind of moved on and now there's all kinds of experiences, including solo games. And that's what this is. It's the game that you bring out when you've got 15 or 20 minutes and you just want to quickly just scratch that itch. You just want to have a bit of a play. And that's what I got it for, and I think that's what it's going to give me. And that's pretty good. I don't really know where I'm going with this. I just thought it was kind of, again, I've never really had it where a game has gone from being feeling so negative about it. I was convinced, you know, this only cost me under £17. And I was thinking that I'd wasted my money. And then the second game just felt so good. And it's just such a quick turnaround, just such a fast transition from not getting it to getting it and being rewarded for getting it. And it felt pretty great. So that, right now, is my experience so far with Hostage Negotiator. If you want a game about negotiating for hostages that you're playing by yourself and takes about half an hour to play, this is one, and you can buy it and play it, and it's pretty good. And look, the artwork on the box is all right. Look, ooh, he's shining all over his face because I'm moving the box back and forwards. There you go. I might do more of these videos. I might sort of talk about what games are great and just the hobby in general. Oh God, I called it a hobby. That's such an old man thing to do. And yeah, but for now, that's it. Enjoy the rest of your day or night or morning, whichever it is. Okay, bye.